Incident Response Policy 1. An incident response policy is a crucial component of an organization's cybersecurity strategy. It provides guidelines and procedures to respond effectively and efficiently to security incidents, minimizing damage and reducing downtime. It covers the purpose, scope, roles and responsibilities, incident classification and escalation, incident response procedures, communication and notification, incident documentation and lessons learned, policy review and testing, and compliance. In this lesson, we'll introduce some of the stages in actioning an incident response policy, including 1. Assembling the CERT and initial assessment. 2. Containing damage and minimizing the risk. 3. Identifying the type and severity of the compromise. 1. Assembling the CERT and initial assessment. Apologies for the confusion. The initial stages of an incident response policy typically involve assembling the CERT, Computer Security Incident Response Team, and conducting an initial assessment. Let's discuss each stage in more detail. 1. Assembling the CERT. The CERT consists of designated individuals responsible for coordinating and executing incident response activities. This team should include members from various departments, such as IT, security, legal, communications, and management. The specific roles and responsibilities of each team member should be defined, and primary and secondary contacts should be identified. The CERT should be properly trained and equipped to handle security incidents effectively. 2. Initial assessment. During the initial assessment stage, the CERT performs an evaluation of the organization's current security posture and incident response capabilities. This assessment involves identifying critical assets and systems, determine the key assets, systems, and data that need to be protected. This helps prioritize incident response efforts. Assessing existing security controls. Evaluate the effectiveness of existing security controls, such as firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and antivirus solutions. Identify any vulnerabilities or weaknesses that could impact incident response. Analyzing potential threats and risks. Conduct a threat assessment to identify potential threats and risks specific to the organization. This includes analyzing past incidents, known vulnerabilities, and emerging threat landscape. Reviewing incident response procedures. Assess the current incident response procedures, if any, to determine their adequacy and effectiveness. Identify any gaps or areas for improvement. By assembling the CERT and conducting an initial assessment, the organization sets the foundation for effective incident response. These activities lay the groundwork for subsequent stages, such as incident identification, response, and recovery, as outlined in the Incident Response Policy. 2. Containing damage and minimizing risk. When it comes to containing damage and minimizing risk during an incident response, several key areas require attention. Here are the main areas that organizations should focus on during this stage. 1. Isolation and segmentation. Isolating affected systems or areas is crucial to prevent the incident from spreading further. This involves disconnecting compromised devices from the network or segregating them in a separate network segment. 2. Evidence preservation. It is essential to preserve evidence related to the incident to support forensic analysis, potential legal actions, or regulatory investigations. This includes capturing relevant logs, system images, network traffic data, and any other information that can aid in understanding the incident's nature, scope, and impact. 3. Threat identification and neutralization. Conduct a thorough analysis to identify the nature and extent of the incident. This involves using security tools, forensic techniques, and expertise to identify and neutralize the threats causing the incident. 4. Access control and credential management. If the incident involves unauthorized access or compromised credentials, it is crucial to change passwords, access codes, and other authentication credentials for affected systems and user accounts. Strong, unique passwords should be implemented, and multi-factor authentication should be enforced where appropriate to prevent further unauthorized access. 5. Security control updates. Evaluate the effectiveness of existing security controls and update them as necessary. This may involve patching vulnerable systems, updating antivirus signatures, reconfiguring firewalls and intrusion prevention systems, or implementing additional security measures to address identified vulnerabilities or attack vectors. 6. Communication and coordination. Establish clear communication channels with the incident response team, relevant stakeholders, and management. Provide regular updates on the progress of incident containment, potential impact, and mitigation efforts. By effectively addressing these areas during the containment stage, organizations can minimize the damage caused by the incident and reduce the associated risks. This sets the stage for the subsequent steps in the incident response process, including remediation, recovery, and lessons learned. 3. Identifying the type and severity of the compromise. Identifying the type and severity of the compromise is a critical step in the incident response process. It involves determining the nature of the incident, understanding its impact on the organization's systems, data, and operations, and assessing the potential risks involved. Here are the key aspects to consider when identifying the type and severity of the compromise. 1. Incident categorization. Classify the incident into relevant categories based on its nature. Common incident categories include unauthorized access, malware infection, data breach, denial of service, DOS, attack, insider threat, social engineering, or system misconfiguration. This categorization helps in understanding the specific characteristics and potential risks associated with the incident. 2. Impact assessment. Evaluate the impact of the compromise on the organization's systems, data, and operations. Consider the following factors. System availability. Determine if the incident has caused disruptions or affected the availability of critical systems or services. Data confidentiality. Assess whether sensitive or confidential information has been compromised or accessed without authorization. Data integrity. Determine if the incident has resulted in unauthorized modifications, tampering, or corruption of data. Regulatory and legal implications. Consider if the incident violates any applicable laws, regulations, or contractual obligations. Reputational impact. Evaluate the potential impact on the organization's reputation, customer trust, and brand image. 3. Severity rating. Assign a severity rating to the compromise based on the identified impact. This rating can follow a predefined scale, example, low, medium, high, or a more granular rating system tailored to the organization's needs. The severity rating helps prioritize incident response actions and resource allocation. 4. Incident triage. Conduct an initial triage to determine the urgency and priority of the incident. This involves considering factors such as the potential for further damage, criticality of affected systems, availability of resources, and potential risks to the organization. 5. Expert analysis. Engage subject matter experts, such as forensic analysts, security specialists, or legal counsel, to provide insights and assist in the assessment of the incident type and severity. Their expertise can help identify advanced or sophisticated attack techniques, potential indicators of compromise, IOCs, and the full extent of the compromise. Accurately identifying the type and severity of the compromise enables the incident response team to tailor their response efforts accordingly. It helps prioritize actions, allocate resources effectively, and implement appropriate mitigation measures to minimize the impact of the incident and facilitate a swift recovery.